Welcome to week 5. I really enjoyed reading through everyone's Sustainable Development Goal assignment and seeing which goal targets everyone chose for the different areas. It's always interesting to see what people view as important and how they think those could be implemented in order to make drastic change. This week, the goal is to compare the financing and delivery of medical care in countries with different types of health systems and different income levels. We are also going to evaluate the various roles, responsibilities, and relationships of the agencies and organizations involved in financing and implementing public health interventions, both locally and internationally. There are trillions of dollars spent annually on a worldwide basis for medical care and public health interventions. There are variances in health systems coverage depending on the country, as some provide universal coverage, while others are out-of-pocket payments. Public health looks at the actions taken at the population level to promote health and prevent illnesses, injuries, and early deaths. These interventions could include policies, education, community services, or even nutrition programs. When evaluating spending, this can be divided into two categories. The amount spent on both personal health and the amount spent on public health. Worldwide spending on health exceeds over $8 trillion per year and accounts for 10% of the world's gross domestic product. This is nearly double the amount spent on health in 2000. As you explore the various types of healthcare financing this week, compare each type as you identify which is seemingly the most beneficial. We move into global health implementation and identify this as typically a different group than the entity that provides the funding. The funding pathway for a global health initiative is typically for a donor to give money to first-level recipient, and that serves as a channel which then passes funding to numerous second-level recipients that actually implement the health projects. To make it easier to understand, we can look at an example. Funding from the U.S. government might be channeled through USAID, which is a U.S. government agency, to nonprofit organizations and for-profit USAID contractors to deliver goods and services to various countries. The United Nations is the largest intergovernmental aid organization in the world and focuses on international cooperation to achieve the same goals. You will learn about and review the different sectors that can be involved in implementation of global health strategies. In addition to reading Chapter 6 and 7 and completing the quizzes, you will also be responsible for exploring a nation and reporting on it in a discussion board. So read Chapter 6, take the quiz, read Chapter 7, take the quiz, and then you will have your nation research assignment. So you will want to watch this TED Talk first, learn what social progress index scores are and how they're calculated, and then you'll need to do the following. So you'll go to this website, and I have already opened that. So what you'll do is it will automatically put you here at this main page. You'll click on the Global Social Progress Index, and you'll scroll down to where the map is. So you'll notice I'm scrolling on the side. If you scroll inside the map, it obviously will move. So you can scroll down the side. So you are either able to select the country here on the map, or you scroll down, you can select your country here. This seems a little easier, just because then you can choose the specific country you want. So you have to choose a nation, and there's a couple criteria. It must have an SPI score. Some nations do not, and that is not valid for this assignment. And you cannot pick the US. I'm also going to caveat and say you cannot pick Papua New Guinea because that's the example I'm going to show for you today. If I can get down to the P's. Okay. So you cannot choose the US and you cannot choose Papua New Guinea. So you're going to create your first discussion board once you've selected which country you want. So you can go in and look at a few, but you'll want to go back to Blackboard and start your discussion board and claim your country. So we have 68 students total in this class. There are more than 68 countries. So you can, I will allow up to two uh, of the same country. So you will want to go through and claim your country as soon as possible at the start of the week. And then I would, you can do your assignment as you have time throughout the week, but I would definitely recommend, you know, it's open today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and choose your country. Um, and then if you have if you are the third person to choose that, you will lose points and potentially a zero, depending on how, um, soon after the second person had claimed it. If it's minutes after or seconds after, obviously, means you guys were claiming them at the same time. But it's going to be really important that you're reviewing and going through the different pages of the discussion board to review which ones have been claimed already. Okay. Um, so what you will need to do, open up the SPI scorecard area, and you can do read through the different data. So basically this is social progress index scores found here, gross domestic product per capita. You'll need both of these scores and ranks for your discussion board, so you'll need to be paying attention to that. What you will need to do is once you feel like you have when you have got a very good understanding of the scorecard area, you will need to choose the top 3 score areas and the bottom 3 score areas. So again, this is somewhat subjective, as you will see more than 3 areas, so you get to be the judge of what's good or bad. At the bottom of this, there will be a key. So overperforming, performing with, underperforming, or no data. So as you can see, underperforming is the solid red. We have intimate partner violence, safety is pretty low, housing is pretty low. So what you'll need to do is go through and review the score area. If you click on one, should give you definitions. So it'll give you the definition of what that means for each of the different areas. And I would expect you to have some additional research and looking at really understanding, okay, what does child mortality mean? What does infectious diseases mean in specific relation to this country? So make sure that you're actually going through and reviewing not just the score areas, but what is the context to give it that score area. So on your own, you'll want to research your nation to find out why they are doing well in the top 3 areas and poorly in the top 3 worst areas. And you'll be expected to give a basic explanation as to why they achieved the good or bad scores they did. And then you will compare your nation to the US. So you'll want to identify your top 3, bottom 3, then you'll go through here and you can find the United States. Okay, so you'll see you have the United States here that's identifying which country it is, and it goes through and same things, the social progress index score, GDP per capita, and then you'll go through and look at all of the different areas. You will compare the US areas to the ones that you've selected for your country as well. Okay, so here's the discussion board. 5 points. You need to name the nation and geographical area of the world your nation is located in. 10 points. You need to have the social progress index score and then the gross domestic product per capita and ranking for both. 60 points. Briefly outline the top 3 best and worst areas. This will be a few sentences per area. You don't need paragraphs. It's giving an overview, but they do need to be thorough. And then in a paragraph, explain how your nation compares to the US. Were they the same, better, or worse? And why do you think the differences exist? And then finally, reply to at least 2 peer posts about their nation. And please select a different nation than the ones that you identified. So that is this week. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing all the nations that you guys select. This is one of my favorite assignments just because it gives us a good look at different areas of the world and how they're doing in the Social Progress Index. Thanks.